Hey guys, this is Phil, and in today's video we're going to be talking about practice. Now, if you're the kind of player who likes to just show up for a game and have a bit of fun without thinking too much about how they can improve, then this video and likely our channel is probably not going to be for you, and that's totally okay. We're all free to enjoy Airsoft however we see fit, whether it's milsim, speedsoft, or just casual play. That being said, if you are the kind of player who wants to improve, or maybe you're on the fence and you're not sure where to start, well then hopefully this video will set you on the right path. So let's get to it. First off, consider this. The average airsofter you meet on the field does not practice outside of games. They show up, they play, they may even be quite good, but when they go home, their gear sits unused until the next game. That could be days away, weeks, or even months away. How might they improve if they actually took some of that downtime to work on their personal skills? Let's look at Airsoft from the perspective of a sport. Most recreational sports teams, whether it's hockey, basketball, or any other sport, set aside time outside of regular games to practice as a team. Practicing as a team is really important because it helps you become more familiar with your teammates, to work on coordinating plays, or to iron out new strategies you might try next game. It's also a really good opportunity for you to get feedback from your teammates about what works well for them and things you might need to work on for yourself. If you look at solo recreational sports, such as golf or tennis, players will set aside time to drill their personal skills to keep them sharp. For example, if you golf, you might hit the driving range once a week. Practicing your own skills, as well as practicing with your team whenever possible, is really important to build your fundamental skills, muscle memory, and coordination that will help you get better on the field. Think about it. The more you practice, the more you'll become familiar with your own gear, the less you have to focus on low-level tasks, such as reloading or switching shoulders, which will allow you to focus on other stuff that's actually happening on the field. This is how good players become great players. They're able to focus on completing their objectives and moving players around rather than focusing on how to manipulate their own gear. So how often should you practice and for how long? Well, there's no one answer to this question, and the answer will largely depend on how much time you have to commit. For example, you could practice 10 minutes every couple of days. You could set aside 1 hour a week for team practice. You could even practice more frequently than that if you have the time and the motivation. I personally practice about 1 hour or so every week as time permits, and we currently practice as a team for a few hours every 2 weeks. Whatever time frame you settle on, you should remember that the perishable skills that we use in Airsoft should be practiced about every 2 weeks to maintain your level of proficiency. Now let's look at how to structure your practice and what you might want to focus on. Your practice's content will largely depend on how much time you have. For example, if you only have 10 minutes, you should focus on one single drill, while an hour-long session can probably be divided into 2 or 3 segments, ideally starting with a warm-up drill before moving on to your main body of work, and finishing it up with a tie-in drill or something fun to motivate you for next practice. Which drills you focus on will largely depend on how much time you have, with shorter sessions focusing on those drills that add the most value. In order of importance, these are the drills that we prioritize. Ready up drills, including shoulder transitions, primary reloads, including shoulder transitions, and weapons manipulations, including changing stances, sidearm transition, and barricade drills and movement whenever possible. The idea isn't to focus on one area to the detriment of the others, but rather to organize your practice in the most efficient way so that you're working on the drills that give you the most improvement. We've done a few videos on ready up drills by now because we feel they're one of the most important drills you can do. But simultaneously to releasing this video, we're also releasing a drills follow-along video. This video will show you 3 ways that you can focus your time on simple but effective drills and what to look out for while you're doing them to make sure you get the most out of your practice. As a final tip, you should generally try and work on areas that you are not good at, things that might be a weak point for you. If you can identify a weak point and train it often, you might realize how much it was actually holding you back on the field. For example, when we started working on shooting from our offside, we initially found it quite difficult. But as we progressed with the skill, we quickly realized how critical and useful it is to be able to do that on the field. Doing practice like this might not seem like a lot, but it all adds up. If you think back to the average airsofter, even if you practice only now and then, every time you do is one practice that you're doing that your opponents are not. We hope that this video motivates you to try practicing between games, and if you do, we know you'll find it worthwhile. Make sure to check out our follow-along video as well if you're looking for a bit more guidance, and thanks for watching.